right. Oh, we're doing good on time here.
We're doing great.
All right. Kiss, kiss, bang,
Bang, bang.
bang.
Yay! Oh, I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Please continue. You know who the key grip was? Some guy's cousin.
Here's what I wrote just to get this out of the way. Isn't it funny how icky gays are? No, that's homophobic, gross, and off-putting. Oh, well, poop, because that's a running joke throughout the entire movie.
Okay, so I don't remember that. I don't remember that part because it is an old movie, older movie.
2005, yeah.
Okay. Isn't that terrible that like something that actually came after 2000, like in the aughts, is like, oh, it's an older movie.
Yeah, that movie that came out when we were in our 20s is now really old.
Dude.
So,
man. But I remember some good parts.
Oh yeah, the rest, other than some really unfortunate homophobic humor, the rest of it's really fun. I enjoyed the movie for the most part. I did find the aren't gays gross and icky? Isn't that funny? I'm like, no, that's no bad Shane Black, bad. But other than that, it's Robert Downey Jr. and is it Val Kilmer?
It's Val Kilmer.
Yeah. And so it's a noir.
And this is like when Robert Downey Jr. was semi trying to come back, right? Wasn't this after the big hiatus?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a Shane Black movie, so it's good. It's got great characters, great dialogue, the plot is fun, it's well structured. Pardon me.
Bless you.
I'm trying to remember the movie because it was 3 months ago. They do a lot of there's a lot of gross humor. You know, he gets his hand slammed on a door, but he's like bugging some woman and she slams the door on him, but he had his hand in the door jamb. She's like, did I just cut off your fingers? And he's like, yes. It's like, oh no. He, like Hannah and Alice, he's really bad at being a private eye. He actually ends up he's a thief or a hoodlum. He's just, you know, knocks over liquor stores or auction
houses, right?
It's not, no, it's the where do you go to buy pawn shop? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm knocking over a pawn shop or something like that, and then he's running from the cops and he accidentally runs into a audition for a film and freaks out because he's stressed, but they think he's just a really good actor, so he gets like a part in a movie. So they pair him with Val Kilmer, who's actually a private eye because he's going to play a private eye in a movie, and then he ends up getting embroiled in an actual murder mystery, and it's one of those comedy of errors things that ends up being really funny, and then it goes all over the place. It's really funny, and there's some fun stuff, some subversions that work to an extent where he like throws the girl out of his room when he finds out that she slept with someone else, which is usually not how that happens. It's still dumb, but seeing the role reversal on that is at least fresh. So I was like, okay, didn't expect that. That's kind of funny. And then there's some uncomfortable stuff in there, like I get what they were going for, but there's some like the gal's sleeping and there's a spider crawling across her chest and he's like, whack! Smacks her right in the chest. She's like, ow!
Right.
And yeah, and he's like, no, seriously, there was a spider in your boobs. And she's like, dude, you copped a feel while I was asleep. It was fine. I'm like, no, it's not. And it's really sad that this woman is just so resigned to being assaulted. But the whole ow! that part's hilarious. You know, so there's a mix of some genuinely really funny stuff with some elements that maybe weren't thought all the way through, but you know, there's a lot. It's definitely worth a watch. There's a lot of good stuff in the film, and I overall I do recommend it. Some unfortunate humor aside.
You know, though, I think about that for now, though, and I think about, you know, the things that we liked growing up. You watch them now, and because of where we've come as a society, that everything from the past, you have to watch it through that lens.
Oh yeah. Had I watched it when I was 25, I probably would not have been uncomfortable with the homophobic humor.
Yeah, because it was, I mean, you know, it's just one of those things that you came,
because
so you have to look at it through that lens, and which makes me think, like, now I'm like, you know, when we're 60,
when you and I grew up, we grew up in an environment where gay people were only ever portrayed as silly and a joke.
Yeah,
that's just
that was the
how
gay
media,
character.
That's how gay people were portrayed in pretty much all media when we were growing up. So when I was 25 and I came across a movie that was presenting being gay as the height of hilarity, I may not have found it particularly funny, but I would have said, oh, well, that's just what we do. So I probably, you know, 15 some years ago would not have been as put off, those two words in either order, by it as I am now. And I'm reasonably certain that Shane Black wouldn't make the movie the same way today as he did 17 years ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just one of those things that I find interesting to know, like, what in 20 years are we going to rewatch now and go, ooh,
yeah, that's not a great look.
Yeah, so be very interesting.
Yeah, are we gonna go watch Encanto in 20 years and go, oh no, what were you thinking? And today I'm like,
oh, Dolores.
Oh, Dolores.
So.
She, you know, woman with super hearing, lives in a house with two married couples.
There it is.
Who are pumping out the kids.
And one bathroom. Like, what if there were some bad enchiladas one night or something?
Oh man, I don't know who has it worse, Dolores or everyone else. Because, you know, if you're having a particularly stubborn BM, Dolores hears it. You're like, oh,
enough.
And poor Dolores is somewhere going, oh, Andrew's on the John again.
Yeah.
I can hear him. I can hear him strain and clench.
Yeah.
Why, Casita, have you cursed me so?
I definitely believe that she has the worst.
She probably, you know, everyone who's having a rough BM, everyone who's boning, everyone who's jerking off. You know,
right? Like she's like her like that's, and she lives in a soundproof room, you know that, or as soundproof as it can be.
That her magical room better be damn soundproof. It's like an isolation tank or something like that. She's like, blessed silence.
Like, this is the greatest moment ever. Yeah. Okay. Enough about Dolores.
All right. So kiss, kiss, bang, bang. All right. All right. Satanic Panic.
The 80s.
I apparently just got an email and heard the Outlook do. Don't know if that's good.
I saw you looking around. I'm like, and I'm looking around my house. I'm like, what we see?
Yeah. So Satanic Panic, which is a 2019 movie about a pizza girl who tries not to get sacrificed by Satanists. So she goes to deliver a pizza. She ends up delivering it to a house of Satanists who are like, you a virgin? And she's like,
we could sacrifice you.
Yeah, it's one of the what happens is what does happen? So she what happens is she's at the pizza joint and they're like, okay, this is this place ordered a bunch of pizzas, and the other guy works and is like, I'm not going out there. They're rich people who never tip, even though they ordered, like, you know, 7 pizzas or something like that, and it's slightly outside of that pizza delivery place's delivery radius.
They're just doing it because it's a big ass order type of a thing.
Yeah, so she goes out there and they don't tip her, and she's like pounding on the door. She ends up sneaking into the house, and I think it's Rebecca Romaine Stamos who's the lead Satanist person, if I'm remembering right. And she's we are going to call forth Satan to do the thing, and la da da, and the people are huzzah Satan, and she's like, yay, hi, yeah, I hope you guys are having a great night. I'm the Julie, the pizza girl, and you forgot to tip me. So I was wondering, because you ordered 7 pizzas and it's outside of my delivery radius. I was wondering if you guys could like just, pool some change together for a tip, because I really need it for gas so I can get home.
That's pretty bold. She's like, I thought it was either going to be a porno or some, or I actually need that tip. So if I'm not getting laid, I'm gonna need.
Yeah, it's a pretty. So they kidnap her, and then shenanigans ensue. I wrote the bad guys were too cartoony for my taste, which makes the film fall a bit flat for me, but I did dig the premise. The set pieces are silly, imaginative, goopy, and fun, and I laughed out loud a few times.
Goopy.
Yeah, there's a fun bit where I think Rebecca Romaine Stamos, she like, I don't know if she like uses Tinder or something to get some guy to show up at her house, and she's like doing the seducting thing, but she's also like laying out newspaper underneath him, and he's just not picking up on it. And then she guts him and like divination with his intestines and stuff, but she's like laying out a plastic tarp.
That's actually pretty funny that he's just like, yeah, this is going great. He's like, just stay right there.
Which is funny. We'll talk about this in like the March mini movie reviews. But I watched
so next November when we get to
when we get to that, I watched What We Do in the Shadows, and there's a similar scene where Taika Waititi is talking to a woman he's about to he's a very fastidious vampire who likes cleanliness. So he has a woman on his couch, and before he bites her, he's like, oh, that's really interesting. He's like laying out newspapers and stuff. So it's kind of a similar idea.
Oh, that's funny.
And there's fun. It's really hokey. It's really goofy. There's a lot of fun gore and monsters and stuff. It's, as I said, it's a bit too cartoony for my taste. So tonally, it didn't totally work for me, but there was a lot in it I enjoyed.
That's good.
So, yeah, cool. Satanic Panic. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think the official poster like censored the word, either eliminated or censored the word satanic. Like I think the television or cable version or whatever is just called Panic. It's like because they were worried about someone was gonna. I mean, don't go in the fucking attic. As F * king.
Sure. Yeah.
But this one's like real. I get the F word, but satanic, really?
Huh?
Really? Okay.
I don't know.
Run, Bitch, Run isn't censored because no one picked up that movie.
Move, bitch! Get out the way.
Yeah, okay, Apollo. Sorry I stood in your flower bed. Okay, moving on. And this is the last movie. Okay, cool.
Oh, wow.
See how quickly we get through these things when I don't remember the movies anymore.
That's so exciting.
Jittemai.
Jittemai?
It's a Japanese film.
Oh, it's not French. I thought maybe you were going to.
No. But it's like a word that doesn't really read properly to me. Jittemai. I have no idea. It is here's what I wrote. Let me look it up real quick and see if I can figure out see if there's an English title here. I think there was.
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. English title, Death Shadow. Summary. After their executions are faked by the authorities, 3 criminals are forced to become assassins under the shogun's command. All right. Okay. Now I mildly remember this.
All right.
That sounds, death shadows, and it's okay. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 criminals are, they're sentenced to death, and their deaths are faked, and they're like, okay, you have a chance to work as assassins for the shogun, or we are going to execute you for real.
So I will sign up for the assassin.
It's like, okay, but they get their tongues yanked out. So
just tell me if I can't talk, I'm out.
Okay, let me read what I wrote. Bad movie, but also deeply weird. I kid you not, every 20 minutes or so, there's a dance break. Seriously. The action staging is awful, the acting all over the place, and one character speaking sign language looks like the actor is making it up on the spot.
I have so much to say about sign language, but not until
seriously.
February, that's when I watched
that was the first thing, because there's one character who speaks sign language, but it's like they didn't even bother trying. He's like, it's just kind of waving his hands. It's like, oh, that's not JSL or any, that is not any sign language. That's the actor just.
I so badly want to learn ASL. I need to do some sort of, I either need to get a tutor or do.
I can finger spell slowly.
I can't even do that.
So if I had
go, thank you, and I can say beautiful.
Yeah, a couple words, but hi, you, me, piss off.
Piss off, right? But I think sign language is the most beautiful language. Forget the Romance languages, the French and the Spanish. Get out of here, Italian. Sign language is where it's at. That's the most beautiful language.
Afraid your dulcet tones are not pleasing to the tympanic membranes of your interlocutor. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, my dulcet tones ain't.
Would you like to listen to my dulcet tones?
Dude, so
let me massage your ears with my voice.
Mike Kramer thinks I sound like Fran Drescher, whereas other people think I sound like Sarah Silverman. And I'm like, I don't take either of those compliments. Yeah, neither of those comparisons bring me joy. And I like Sarah Silverman. Let us be clear. Wreck-It Ralph is amazing. Her comedy is amazing.
I still need to see the sequel to that.
Yes, you do. And
it's on Disney Plus. I could totally watch it.
I really enjoy the Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I want to see if Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella look really weird in CG or not. Because I know there's a Disney princess scene. And I'm like, have those characters ever been actually rendered in CG? I'm not sure. I wonder if they look weird.
I mean, they look.
Tiana, I think, is in there too. So
they look fine.
So would Pocahontas. Is Esmeralda in there? Well,
I don't know. Mulan. I don't believe Mulan is there, which is upsetting because she is best princess. Putting that out there.
Mulan best princess, huh?
Mulan best princess. I mean, she ends up with Donny Osmond.
Well, at the very least, most accomplished princess.
There you go. And let's be real, I'm a huge Donny Osmond fan, even though there is a part of me that's like, oh, you're lame.
Even Ariel, even Ariel's beau's like, yeah.
All right.
Prince Charming or whatever, both the Aurora and Snow White's bows are like, we don't even have names.
That's the
no. Wait. Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. He has a name, right? It's like Philip or something. Philip.
So yeah. Okay, so Snow White
named after Belle's horse. years before.
Snow White.
It's just Prince Charming.
It's just Prince Charming.
Yeah. What about Cinderella? Isn't he just the prince? Does he have a name?
Oh, maybe Cinderella is Prince Charming. Maybe because there's two Prince.
Snow White's both just creepy dude who smooches corpses.
For real. And
there's a pretty dead girl.
so do you know? So Isabel asked me the other day. She's like, I want to read the original Cinderella.
Corpses can't consent, asshole.
She says to me, I want to read the original Cinderella, and I was like,
you don't.
I was like, what do you mean? I need to know about what you mean by original Cinderella. Like, what do you think that means?
Does she mean the novel adaptation of the Disney film?
And she says to me, well, don't the stepsisters, doesn't one of them cut off their heel to try to fit in the shoe? And I was
like their toes or something, but
one of them does the toe and the other one does the heel. And they talk about the shoe filling up with blood. And I'm sitting there and I thought, okay, so she truly means, but like, I still don't know if you're ready for that, because like
is that the one where they actually end up putting them in like hot iron shoes or something like that?
That's the one where the well, Grimm's original one for Cinderella,
I think the stepmother gets put in stocks and like crows eat her eyes or something.
The eyes, yes, that's that one. So the crows eat the eyes, but also what were we talking about? Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Man doesn't just kiss her; he impregnates her. So bitch wakes up with a belly full of a baby. Does no one remember that part?
I don't remember that. Maybe I blocked that out.
I don't blame you. Yeah, she's like, what? Like she wakes up and she's like, oh, my prince, this is what the like, can you imagine? You think you're dead and someone's like, you know what I could do to this one? It's like, and then does he not kiss her when he impregnates her? Like, I need to read it, but like, yeah, woman is with child because he defiles a corpse.
Day, my prince.
He brings a whole new meaning to that.
Wrong movie, but yeah. Have they ever done like a porno parody of Sleeping Beauty? Because if I did a porno parody of Sleeping Beauty, I would definitely use that song and get sued. But maybe it's public domain now. Maybe not. I don't know. Disney probably re-upped the copyright on all this.
I was going to say, let's be real. There's not much of Disney that they'll ever allow to go into public domain if they can help it.
You'll notice we stopped talking about the movie because it's stupid.
So we can.
Yeah. So Jittemai is bad. It's
Death Shadows. No need to watch.
Yeah, don't watch it. It's bad. It's actually, it's so weird though. It is kind of interesting. Like I said, there's literally a weird dance. You know, in Austin Powers, every 20 minutes, the transition scene, it's kind of like that, where you have a character just doing a weird dance.
A transition. It's not like because that seems real. I was wondering.
It's weird. I kind of love it, but it's weird. But yeah, the action is bad. The choreography, the filming is really bad. It doesn't even have good action. The acting.
Oh, sorry.
Did the cat poo?
All of a sudden, I'm like, hello.
I just got a whiff. Yeah, the acting ranges from fine to just utterly awful. Yeah,
fine to awful. That's not a good.
Yeah. It's not a good movie. I like the premise, but yeah. And it's weird too, because there's something like, it's like, okay, you've been executed, but your execution's been faked, but now you're a assassin for the Shogun. But then they don't like ask him to do anything for like 15 years. So one of them starts a new family and then gets all pissy when says, okay, now you gotta go do assassin things. He's like, but I have a family now. It's like, well, we'll kill your family if you don't. Okay.
All right.
All right. So
of all the movies you watched,
most recommended, and want me to go first? Okay.
Well, I need to remember the 4 movies that I watched. I thought
it was 3, but it was Encanto, Spider-Man, and
Red Notice. Didn't I watch Red Notice? I
thought that was November, but
okay. Encanto, Spider-Man, and Sing 2. Well, obviously, go see Spider-Man. Like, duh. It could have been any flipping month, and I would have said go see Spider-Man.
Out of those 3, I would agree. Spider-Man is fun.
I mean, that there's no Mm-mm. And then to skip is obviously like like it's
Not that it's bad or anything, but you know, out of
bad.
those three.
I had to choose one, so there's that. But like more than that, it just depends on I mean it's inoffensive, but sometimes that's not enough. There you go.
It's like going on a date. It's like, well, he wasn't offensive. It's like, oh, that's some faint praise you're damning me with right there. How's the date? He was non-offensive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, low bar cleared. Sometimes we have problems with that.
I didn't
Dudes in general, really.
I didn't end the night in tears. So
yeah.
All right, now through your 27 films.
Oh, I think it's only 25 or something, but okay, so for the movie I say skip, whew, boy, did I have some stinkers that month.
You did.
It's between Hitchcock's remake of his own
oh God,
the man who knew too much.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Especially in the fact, oh, that's unfortunate when it's Hitchcock too.
Well, I mean, he's made a ton of movies. Something's going to be his worst, but I honestly did. The first movie from the 30s was my worst movie of that month.
Yeah.
I don't watch this, it's terrible. And I had at the time said, of all the Hitchcock I've seen, this is by far the worst. Yeah. And then in December, I watched the remake, which Hitchcock himself did, and I thought it was even worse. So it's between that and I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, which is the direct sequel to the original I Spit on Your Grave. And it's like the Hitchcock one, I'm like I expected better.
Especially if you're going to take the time,
especially if this was your second swing,
I mean, almost like when you're going to redo something, there's no, like Gus Van Sant, like doing Psycho. I'm all for, like, okay, first off, this LI, I'm not all for remaking movies. There are some movies that are sacred. Matthew Broderick is Ferris Bueller. Let us end that discussion now. I never want to hear about it again.
Yeah, for remakes, for me, I'm like, if you have a new shooting it in color is, to me, not enough of a reason to remake a movie. I mean, if you've got your own spin, or if it's like, this movie was done in the 60s or something and the effects were garbage and it was just way too ambitious for what they could possibly do at the time, and we just want to do the same movie but with modern effects, okay, sure. But yeah, I mean, I can understand Hitchcock saying, Zapooch, it was screwed with the first one. I want to do over, and then made it worse.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, if you have something else to say or a whole different way of telling it, let's remake it and find like West Side Story. Hey, let's actually use a Puerto Rican cast and
I should watch that. It's on Disney Plus too.
I don't love me some Natalie Wood, because goodness knows, love me some Natalie Wood, and she was ethnic in some way, which I forget, because they never used it. They tried to make her white, but I forget what her ethnicity.
She's not Puerto Rican, but
she's not Puerto Rican. I think it's like a Turkish type of something. Like, she has ethnicity of some sort, but like, I mean, we all have ethnicity. I guess that is kind of like the lamest thing.
I don't know, but it might be along the lines of like calling us German. I mean, kind of. We're our parents were born in California and Michigan, their parents were born in California and Michigan. You have to go back a couple generations before you get out of this.
Well,
country,
Grossmutter's parents were from Germany.
Yeah, on mom's side, yeah.
Yeah. So Grossmutter's parents were from Germany. But like, I do enjoy letting people know that I am the master race and the chosen people all in body.
It's our legacy is weird because like our great grandparents literally were trying to murder each other. Don't know how the hell that worked. Because we had two groups who came down into us, and these two groups this group was trying literally to murder this one. It was trying to genocide this one.
When I found out, when I was a kid, and I found out that Grossmutter's parents used to give money to the Nazi party, I was like,
"Oh God damn it!"
Oh.
Because wait, weren't our great grandparents on the other side? Oh no!
Well, that's
is this like an example of love finding the way? Dude, our genealogy is fucked.
It just gotta mix it around. Just gotta
I'm like, love will find the way.
Okay, so
God. I think I'm gonna
love will find a way. Now, after that Keleigh came into the world, we're gonna have to divorce. Love did not find a way.
Yeah. Both the Eisen kids are like, no, the gene pool ends here.
Oh God.
My gametes are mine. I ain't sharing.
Jesus. Is there what was the other thing that I was going to say to you?
I still need to pick a movie, but
you still have to pick yeah.
Well, okay. So I'm kind of more upset with the Hitchcock film. I'm disappointed by I Spit on Your Grave, but I'm more upset by the other one. But I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu is inarguably worse. I mean, it's like just incompetent in every single way. But I'm gonna give it to I Spit on Your Grave.
Okay.
As definitely the one to skip because it's the longer movie.
That's thoughtful.
Because I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu is not just bad. It's 2.5 hours.
It's 2.5 hours of bad.
And Man Who Knew Too Much is 2 hours itself, but it's not 2.5 hours. So that's why I'll go skip Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. The original one, if you can stomach that genre of film, I recommend the original I Spit on Your Grave. And it's actually the remake and sequels. Those I really enjoyed too. But yeah, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu is just awful. I mean, it's the kind of awful where you actually feel bad for the people involved with it.
Oh no!
It's that kind of bad where you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Dude, like I kind of want to buy all these people a beer and maybe give them a hug or something. It'll be okay.
I've done theater like that, so I get it. And I'm like, you guys know how bad this is, and and they're so proud of themselves.
Yeah. So scrolling through my films here.
Yeah, which ones are you recommending?
Yeah, so the one I would recommend is one of the ones I can't pronounce, Le Tableau. The one about the living paintings one. I think that's the one I'd recommend.
I'm
because it's just so imaginative and fun. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I just your description of that. I'm very just like the even though you weren't very I don't want to say kind, that's not the right word, but the calendar one.
The Advent calendar one.
A different story than I've heard. But not as interesting as Le Tableau. Like that one, like the Tableau, like that one is a different story than I've ever heard and awesome.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I went into it not really knowing much about it. I was gonna, pull it up on Criterion Collection to see what their log line for it was, but because I think the summary was characters in a painting are divided into classes: the all dones, the half dones, and the sketchies. The fully completed characters, the half completed, and the pencil sketches. Right. And I'm like, well, that's a really interesting idea. I had no idea they'd be coming out of the painting and then going into other completely different paintings and meeting new peoples. And I was like, oh, my mind blown. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
So like, also, when we were children, grandma showed us A Christmas Story. Is that what it was called? Not A Christmas Story, A Christmas Toy, maybe. The one that had the little lion that and all the toys were alive. And if you saw them, they would fall over and die and they'd never have their life back. And I remember that really
vague sense memory of that, but yeah.
I remember that hit me so hard as a kid.
The Christmas Toy sounds right.
I think it's called A Christmas Toy, and it had the little lion guy. And I remember I would like make noise before I went into my room. I'd like tap on the door because I didn't want any of my animals to die forever and be lifeless. I wanted them to get back to where they needed to be so that I never saw them. And so this movie, like that idea speaks to me so heavily because I always believe, like, I don't believe this, guys, let's be real. But it is one of those things that I get very like, you know, like sensitive to the fact that like maybe there's a life that it's
why the hell is Kermit the Frog on the cover? It's not a Muppet movie.
Then is it?
No, but for I'm looking at the box art and it does have maybe they're just trying to sell it. When no people are around, the toys still play in the playroom, but since the toy will be frozen forever if a person catches it out of position, they have to be very careful. It's Christmas Eve and Rugby the tiger remembers how he was the Christmas toy last year and thinks he's going to be unwrapped again. And it's up to Apple the doll, whom Apple the doll, whom Rugby supplanted as favorite toy, to tell him what's in store. But Rugby won't believe her and tries to get into the Christmas package and lets Meteora, Queen of the Asteroids, Meteora, Queen of the Asteroids loose. Unfortunately, she doesn't know she's a toy and she thinks she's landed among aliens. My God, this is almost exactly Toy Story. And it's up to Apple, Mew, the cat's toy mouse, and the other toys to get Rugby out of the box and Meteora back in before they're found and frozen. Wow. Yep. This is a TV movie from '86. Toy Story, I think, was '95.
Yep. I'm telling you.
Let me look at pics here. I remember this.
So
oh my God. Yeah, it is. It's done with puppets.
Yes. And isn't there a little tiger?
Okay, well, Kermit's in there. Well, I see one screenshot with.
Is it just
maybe he has a cameo or something, or maybe it's presented by the Muppets. I don't know.
I don't remember Kermit at all. I remember the little tiger guy, and I remember her because she doesn't know she's a toy. But anyways, that is like. Oh
my God, I remember this now.
That movie like still owns a piece of like my internal like how I live my world because I make sure to not abuse any of my stuffies. Like I talk to them. Like there's impressionable child, 86 you said? I was 5.
Okay, so it was originally introduced by Kermit the Frog. And yeah, so when it was on TV, I guess, and released on VHS in the early 90s, it was originally introduced by Kermit the Frog. He was later taken out for legal issues. So it looks like it may just be so Henson Company produced it. So it's probably just a introduced by Kermit the Frog, and he might pop up at the very end where they're all dancing and hugging or something like that. But wow, man.
So Tableau,
I remember
really speaks to me on the like. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be my new Christmas toy movie. Welcome to the mind.
There you go. All right, so that's it. We have done it. We have finally made it through all of our December monthly movie mini reviews. So it's currently the middle of March. Yeah, it's barreling towards the end of March. It's March 20th as we record this. Yep. So Yeah, we've got January and February to record, and then soon we'll have to get through our March movies. Now,
That's okay.
now every time I'm about to watch a movie, I'm like, should I watch a movie? Because that's just going to add more to the list. It's going to take longer.
If it makes you feel better, I've been doing a ton of traveling, so I've been doing not a lot of watching. So
I should watch more TV shows because we don't talk about TV.
There's some great TV shows out there. If I could recommend Fleabag.
You did. I actually finished watching the 4th season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, which is my guilty pleasure. Because it's actually, the first season is, I've always described as fascinatingly bad.
Yeah.
The subsequent seasons don't have the same problems. I mean, they're still, I wouldn't call them good, but
I'm not trying to go under invested. Or over a tree that they could just have gone around in the other seasons.
Not as much. I mean, the first season is just like, if I were to do a video series, I think the first 3 seasons are releasing on DVD in like May or something. So maybe I'll have to buy it and actually do that, do an analysis of it. But I think it would take me like 3 or 4 episodes just to get through the first episode because there's just so much in it. But yeah, I'm invested now. I just want to see where this goes. It's just kind of the decisions they make are fascinating because they're off the island now, but they've run into another island. So there's a 3rd island, and with distinct biomes, with different dinosaurs in it. But now they've got robots to deal with, like a Boston Dynamics type of, well, quadrupedal and then later bipedal robots that shoot lasers at them. Like, I'm cyborg dinos. Give the dinos laser guns. I am totally on board with this.
At first, I'm like, do we have robot dinos? Do we have
not yet
laser beams on their head?
But there's a moment where a T-Rex gets smacked with a it's not the Stegosaurus, but it's a very similar thing with a spiky tail. It's basically a Stegosaurus that has spikes that come out of its shoulders. And so it leaves a thorn in its back. And one of the kids, the Rex is down and like half sedated, and he pulls. I'm like, are we doing a Mouse and the Lion type of thing where it pulls the thorn out of its paw and they become friends? They don't follow up on that, at least in this season, but which is maybe that's why I want to watch season 5. Are you gonna bring this? Is this gonna actually?
Is there gonna be a payoff?
Come to fruition? Is this gonna pay off at all? They actually do. Like 2 of the characters are developing feelings for each other, and that felt organic. They do have a lot of problems where they will just give someone a character trait suddenly just to cause drama that they can resolve and have a character arc. Like, suddenly this character has panic attacks. Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. Suddenly this character is an emotional control freak. Oh, well, okay. We can build a lesson out of this, sure, but it just comes out of nowhere sometimes.
Oh my goodness.
And there's also absolutely no tension because I don't believe any of these kids are ever going to get killed. I mean, at worst, they'll sprain an ankle.
Yeah.
But they have done some nice things where the kids are getting progressively grungier and dirtier, and their clothing is starting to tatter. Brooklyn, who started the show with pink hair, her roots are showing by about an inch now. Darius's hair is all grown out.
Smart, that's good. At least
Kenji's kind of growing a very young person's stubble. He doesn't grow a full beard or anything. He just has kind of wispy whiskers kind of thing.
Nothing more humorous than prepubescent facial hair.
Yeah, I'm kind of digging this. This is fun.
Yeah.
So so all right. That's it for this month's monthly movie mini reviews, all 6 parts of it. I watched. Look. I took vacation in December, so I had plenty of time to watch movies.
Yeah.
And I used it. So
you are a bachelor life it up. I live vicariously through your copious amounts of free time, which aren't free, they're yours, but
that's right. Okay, so hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble on and on about the Christmas Toy, which neither of us actually watched that month, and our questionable genealogy. So, what dark secrets do your ancestors hide? Okay, that's it from us. Take care, everyone. Happy movie watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.